Okay, I want you just to close your eyes for a second. Go back to being a kid.
Uh-huh.
It's, a Tuesday night in February. The sky has that weird glowing orange color, and you're just glued to the television.
Waiting for the news crawl at the bottom of the screen.
Yes, the news crawl. Staring at it with this, religious focus, just waiting to see your school's name pop up.
The absolute magic of the snow day. It's a universal feeling, I think, for anyone who grew up with winter.
Totally. And then you get it. School is closed.
Yeah.
You wake up, you pull on 3 layers, those snow pants that make that swish, swish sound.
Oh, yeah.
And you step outside. And before you do anything else, what's the first thing you notice?
It's the sound, or, well, the lack of it.
Exactly. It's that heavy, thick silence. It feels like the whole world's been tucked in under a giant blanket. It's so peaceful.
It really is. It's a sensory experience that just sticks with you, right? Even as an adult stepping out after a big snowfall, you feel that quiet stillness.
So that's what we're digging into today. The mission for this deep dive is pretty simple, but I think kind of magical. Is that quietness just in our heads? Is it just a feeling? Or is the world actually physically quieter?
And to get to the bottom of it, we're looking at a great interview with Dr. Matt Ctkausky. He's a meteorologist and the science editor-in-chief at the Weather Channel. So we're going from pure nostalgia right into the physics.
I love that. We can take something poetic like winter silence and find out there's actual math behind it. So let's unpack this. The first thing that comes to my mind, the skeptic's view,
right,
is that it's quiet because, nobody's doing anything. There's a blizzard, so I'm not driving. The construction site down the street is empty.
That's the first logical assumption for sure. And we have to acknowledge the human factor. Human activity it drops off a cliff.
Fewer cars, fewer people.
Fewer cars, fewer planes sometimes. And it's not just us. Nature quiets down too. Ctkausky points out you hear fewer birds. They tend to just hunker down and wait it out.
Okay, so if I'm playing devil's advocate, I could just say, case closed.
Right. Yeah.
It's quiet because all the noisemakers are hiding.
You could, but you would be missing the really cool part of the science. This is where it gets fascinating.
Okay.
Ctkausky makes a very specific point. He says even in places that are normally empty, think a deep forest, a remote field, places with no cars to begin with, that silence after a snowfall is still incredibly profound.
So a place that's already quiet becomes extra quiet.
Exactly. It's not just about the absence of noise. Something is happening to the sound itself. The snow isn't just a visual blanket, it's an acoustic one.
Okay, so let's get into the how. What's the mechanism? Because snow is just frozen water, right? And ice isn't quiet. If I drop an ice cube, it clatters all over the floor.
Right, it's all about structure. It comes down to what we could call the physics of fluff. Ctkausky describes fresh snow as having this velvety, sponge-like texture.
Velvety. Okay, so what does that mean in physical terms?
It means it's porous, incredibly porous. Snow traps air in 2 different ways. Yeah. First, you've got the air trapped between all the individual snowflakes as they pile up. But then, and this is key, you also have air trapped within the intricate crystalline shape of each flake.
Oh, right, with all those little arms and branches.
Exactly. The dendrites. It creates this complex fractal web of ice and air, and that structure is an absolute nightmare for a sound wave.
A nightmare in a good way.
In the best way, yes. So think about sound in a city normally. A siren, someone shouting. That sound wave hits a brick building or a concrete sidewalk.
Hard surfaces.
Very hard, non-porous surfaces. And the sound wave, it just bounces. It reflects.
Like a tennis ball off a wall.
Perfect analogy. It ricochets, keeping that energy alive. But when that same sound wave hits a layer of fresh snow, it doesn't bounce. It just goes in.
And then it just dies in there.
Pretty much, yeah. The sound wave tries to vibrate the air molecules inside all those tiny frozen pockets. And that friction, that struggle, it actually converts the sound energy into heat.
Wait, really? The sound turns into heat?
Tiny, imperceptible amounts of heat, yes. But the acoustic energy gets dissipated. It's gone. Ctkausky compares it directly to commercial soundproofing products.
You mean like that foam you see on the walls of a recording studio?
Exactly like that. Acoustic foam works by trapping sound in air pockets so it can't bounce back out. Nature just did it first by covering the entire landscape in acoustic foam pads.
Nature's recording studio. I love that.
Yeah.
But I need the data. We can say it absorbs sound, but how much? Is there a scale for this?
Oh, there's absolutely a scale. It's called the absorption coefficient. It runs from 0 to 1.
Okay, walk me through it. What's a 0?
0 is total reflection, no absorption at all. Think of a perfectly smooth, hard surface. A concrete wall is maybe 0.03.
So almost nothing. It reflects like 97% of the sound.
Right, it's an echo chamber. Now, something like, say, heavy carpet might be a 0.4, acoustic ceiling tiles, maybe 0.7.
And where does snow land on that scale?
Fresh, fluffy snow, rates anywhere between 0.5 and 0.9.
Whoa, 0.9. So it's absorbing 90% of the sound that hits it.
Yes, depending on the conditions. It is effectively deleting the vast majority of ambient noise. That's why the silence feels so heavy. The background hum of the world is physically being erased by the ground.
That is wild.
Yeah.
A 0.9 rating is like stepping inside a professional vocal booth.
It is, and it creates the sensation of isolation. In a normal environment, you hear things happening blocks away. But when the ground is a 0.9 absorber, you only hear what's immediately around you. Your acoustic world literally shrinks.
You mentioned fresh, fluffy snow. That implies that. Not all snow is created equal. I mean, anyone who's shoveled a driveway knows that.
Oh, absolutely not. This is a crucial variable. Ctkowski draws a sharp contrast between what he calls light January powder and soggy March slush.
Ugh, the soggy slush. The worst.
The worst for your back and the worst for acoustics. Remember, the key is porosity, those air pockets.
Right.
Light, fluffy powder is full of air, highly porous, a champion sound absorber. But that heavy, wet slush, the water content fills in all those tiny gaps.
It's denser.
It's way denser, less porous, so it's not nearly as effective at dampening sound.
And temperature is the driver there, I'm guessing.
It is. When the temperature is hovering right around freezing, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, you get that heavy, wet, sticky snow. When it's much colder, you get the drier, fluffier stuff.
So kind of ironically, the colder and more brutal the weather is, the more peaceful and quiet the result.
Exactly.
And speaking of temperature, there's another layer here, right? It's not just the ground. The air itself feels different acoustically when it's that cold.
You are spot on. This gets into atmospheric science a bit. Ctkowski mentions how temperature impacts how sound travels through the air itself.
Okay, so does sound move slower or faster in the cold?
It actually moves slower. The air molecules are denser, have less energy. But the really weird part is how the sound can bend.
Bend, like light through a prism.
Very similar. It's called refraction. Usually the air gets colder the higher up you go. But after a snowstorm, you often get this layer of very cold air right near the ground, with warmer air above it.
An inversion.
Exactly. And sound waves tend to bend toward colder air, so sound that would normally travel up and away gets bent back down toward the ground.
Hang on, if it's bending the sound back down, wouldn't that make things louder? I've heard that on some cold, clear nights, you can hear a train from miles away because of that.
You're right. Under normal circumstances, it would make it louder. The atmosphere is trying to funnel the sound along the ground.
Oh, wow.
But the ground is made of that perfect acoustic foam we just talked about. So any sound that the atmosphere tries to trap near the ground gets instantly eaten by the snow.
It's a double whammy in silence.
It's like the air and the ground are conspiring to shut everything up.
That is just fascinating. So here's a practical question. Do I need a massive blizzard for this to work? Like 3 feet of snow to get that 0.9 rating?
Surprisingly, no. Ctkowski says the effect is noticeable with as little as 1 inch of snow.
Just 1 inch?
Just 1. Now, the rule of thumb is, of course, the deeper the snow, the quieter it gets, especially for low-frequency sounds. But that general hush kicks in almost immediately.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't last. That magical quiet on a snow day feels so fleeting. By the next afternoon, even if the snow's still there, the magic is kind of gone.
It is remarkably ephemeral, and this is where the science gets a little poignant, I think. Ctkowski explains that snow evolves.
It evolves. It ages.
It does. The technical term is metamorphosis. As soon as a snowflake lands, it starts to change. Picture that delicate, lacy crystal full of air pockets we talked about.
The perfect sound absorber.
Right. Well, the moment it lands, gravity starts compressing it. The sharp points of the crystals begin to round off. The ice basically wants to become a simply rounder shape to conserve energy.
And that ruins the acoustics.
It destroys them. As the crystals round off and the snow compresses, you lose that porosity. The air pockets collapse. So with every hour that passes, the sound-absorbing ability drops.
So the silence literally decays.
Yes.
It's not just me getting used to it. The ground is physically changing.
Exactly. And then there's the worst-case scenario, the melt-freeze cycle. If that beautiful, fluffy snow melts a little during the day and then freezes solid overnight, what do you have?
A sheet of ice.
A hard, non-porous sheet of ice.
So we're back to the concrete problem.
Worse, actually. Ice is extremely reflective of sound. Sikowski warns that if the snow turns to ice, the environment can actually become louder than normal. Sound waves just skate across it and travel further and clearer.
Wow. From the most peaceful silence to a loud, clattering echo chamber. That is a betrayal by nature.
It's the full life cycle of the storm. It gives you this gift of silence, but it has a very firm expiration date.
Well, I will never walk out into the snow again without thinking about porosity ratings and crystal metamorphosis.
It totally changes how you experience it, doesn't it? It's not just weather. It's a massive, temporary modification of your whole sensory world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm going to leave you with one last thought to chew on. We talked about how the snow evolves, how it loses its fluffiness, how the crystals round off.
The countdown timer.
Exactly. So think about that profound silence when you first step outside. It's beautiful, but what we've learned today means that silence is actually the sound of fragility. The absolute quietest moment is when the snow is fresh, when the crystals are at their most complex and delicate.
And from that second on?
From that second on, gravity and temperature are working to harden it, to close the gaps, to bring the noise back. So the next time you hear that perfect winter silence, just remember, you're listening to a structure that is already starting to collapse. The silence is the freshness. And the moment you start to hear the world again, the magic is hardening back into reality.
That's a hauntingly beautiful way to put it.
Enjoy the silence while it lasts. Thanks for diving in with us.
Stay warm out there.